You're watching the area's only primetime local newscast, Fox 55 News, first at 10.
Tonight on Fox 55 News, we take a look at the wintry weather that's currently across the region. I'll let you know when that snow finally tapers off and just how much will be on the ground tomorrow morning.
And if you thought you didn't have to worry about the snow brushes or the slick road conditions for your morning commute, you might have to reconsider. I'm Caleb Saylor. I'll tell you what to expect from the area roads coming up.
And local reaction to the Derek Chauvin guilty verdict, and later.
I want more the police around in this area. I really do.
A deadly shooting kills one Fort Wayne woman and leaves another fighting for her life in a hospital. You're going to hear from a neighbor about the amount of violence they've seen in their community. Fox 55 News starts right now. Good evening, I'm Chris Malooly. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, wintry weather in our area. It's not fun, especially for this time in April, but it's not rare. It's just not normally the weather we mostly expect. Tonight, we're going to have team coverage of the snowfall, its effect, and the impact it'll have on your morning commute. You see meteorologist Caleb Saylor there. He's live in Fort Wayne monitoring road conditions, and meteorologist Beverly Perry's here tracking some of that snow moving through their area. We're going to start with Beverly first. Beverly, you have the latest on the snowfall and temperatures. Tell us what you're seeing so far.
Yeah, so the snow, believe it or not, is finally starting to taper off across the region. You see the back edge of that, so Elkhart County as well as Kosciuszko County, you're out of the woods. This is going to continue to track to the south and east. So light snow, a lot of this is still just light snow. We had that moderate to heavy snowfall earlier in the evening. Now it's just on the lighter side of things. In Steuben County, DeKalb County along 6 towards Kendallville and Noble County, seeing light snow. Also included in this, Allen County, Fort Wayne, Monroeville, Aboit, even towards Whitley County, seeing some light snow. We've seen a few darker bands. You notice that along 27 near Burns. That's going to continue to lift in the southeasterly fashion. And again, this is all tapering off for us. But more importantly, it is going to be downright cold for us. We have a freeze warning in effect right now, lasts tonight, and also for tomorrow night. We're looking at bitterly cold temperatures across the area, which will impact the potential for the roadway. So we turn to meteorologist Caleb Saylor, that is out in the field. He has the very latest on that.
Yeah, the snow started to stick at around 4 p.m. here in Fort Wayne. That was primarily on the grassy surfaces, and I noticed as I was driving around this evening at about 7:30, the snow started to stick to the elevated surfaces. I'm actually here at the overpass on Covington Road just over I-69, where the bridge right over here, the snow is starting to stick. And like Beverly mentioned, cold temperatures filtering in back behind it, and that's actually where the concern lies. Overnight, as those temperatures drop down into the upper 20s, in a lot of places, we could possibly see some roads freeze over, creating some headaches for the morning commute. I caught up with Hunter Petroviak at NDOT this afternoon to see how their crews have been preparing the highways, and he says operations tonight are no different than a normal event, and they'll even be getting a little bit of help from Mother Nature.
With where we're at in the year, things are kind of warmer, so our road temperatures are warmer. So it puts us in a pretty good position to be able to treat the roads, no problem. With that being said, we know it is going to get a little colder tonight. So we are expecting to have to plow and put salt down. And the good news is that we have plenty of salt supply left, so there should be no issues in that department.
Even with NDOT being able to get to the roads tonight, your morning commute may be a little bit slow going. That's because some slick spots could develop, especially on those secondary and less traveled roads. So you're going to want to add some extra minutes to your morning commute to get to where you need to be safely. And you'll hear more from Hunter in the next half hour about what you need to be concerned with as well for your morning commute. Reporting live in Fort Wayne, Caleb Saylor, Fox 55 News.
Thanks for that, Caleb. And Indiana Michigan Power, they want customers to be aware of some of those potential hazards that come along with tonight's wintry weather like we're seeing. That includes dangerous driving and walking conditions. Drivers, make sure you slow down for first responders, snowplows, and I&M crews. I&M says never touch a fallen utility wire, no matter how harmless it looks. Don't touch anything in contact with a line, such as a tree, fence, or puddle of water. And always be sure to be aware of your surroundings. And to stay up to date with the latest and most accurate weather forecast, you can download our Fox 55 Severe Weather app. Make sure to visit that. You can go to our website, WFFT.com. Right now, you're looking at a live look at inside Minneapolis, where a memorial is being held outside the Cup Foods, where George Floyd was killed. Earlier today, the jury in the Derek Chauvin trial found the former officer guilty of all counts for that May 2020 death of George Floyd. 45-year-old Derek Chauvin was found guilty of 3 charges today: second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. Chauvin could face up to 40 years in prison for second-degree murder, 25 years for the third-degree murder charge, and 10 years for manslaughter. Camila Bernal has more.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty.
After close to 10 hours of deliberations over just 2 days,
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty.
the verdict is in.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty.
The jury finding former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin guilty on all 3 counts.
I would not call today's verdict justice, however, because justice implies true restoration. But it is accountability.
George Floyd's brother stood inside the courtroom as the jury's verdict was read, while outside, protesters celebrating the victory. His girlfriend sharing her grief and her sense of relief.
It'll mean change. It's a first step in a long road to recovery.
Chauvin's bail was revoked and he was led out of the courthouse in handcuffs. In Minneapolis, I'm Camila Bernal.
And here locally, groups and city officials were reacting to that news of the guilty verdict this afternoon. The group Changemakers held a meeting this afternoon to talk about the verdict and discuss their plans moving forward. And City Councilwoman Michelle Chambers, who heads the Police Reform and Racial Justice Commission in Fort Wayne, formed after the June protest we saw here in Allen County, spoke with us shortly after the verdict was announced. Chambers says today justice was served.
Found guilty on all 3 counts. That's probably why I had to sit in my car and compose myself, because I'm getting ready to go into city council, and I cried. It was tears of joy, tears of heartache, tears of, I can have faith in the system again.
Chambers went on to say she hopes this is the start of rooting out the few bad apples that exist in any policing organization. President Joe Biden also making remarks on the guilty verdict, saying today's verdict sends a message to Americans and is a step forward towards justice.
No one should be above the law, and today's verdict sends that message, but it's not enough. So we can't leave this moment or look away thinking our work is done. We have to look at it, we have to look as we did for those 9 minutes and 29 seconds. We have to listen. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Those are George Floyd's last words. We can't let those words die with him.
Biden adds this is a time for this country to come together and unite as Americans. Right now, one woman is dead and another is fighting for her life in a Fort Wayne hospital after a shooting near downtown Fort Wayne. Police are interviewing witnesses currently for information on a possible suspect. Fox 55's Nico Panisi is live on 3rd Street, where he spoke with residents and was at the crime scene earlier today. Nico, what did the people you spoke with have to say?
Chris, residents of this area say it's no stranger to crime and other drug activity. Many parents of small children say they're starting to question the neighborhood's safety and are pleading with Fort Wayne police to take action. Dennis Harmon was walking along 3rd Street Tuesday when he was met with sirens, flashing lights, and a line of police cars.
And I seen squad cars coming down the street.
But that's not all he saw.
Body and everything, and it was covered up by blood. And when I got down there, they started taping it off and I couldn't go any farther.
Fort Wayne police say when officers arrived, they found 2 women with gunshot wounds. One was pronounced dead at the scene. Another was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Resident Francisco Munoz says crime in the neighborhood is nothing new.
My neighbor told me the other day there was a guy sleeping on my porch, and he called the cops and stuff like that, and they find some drugs on him.
Munoz is concerned for the youth who live here.
I want more the police around in this area. I really do. I mean, I had kids, I had kids, and neighbors had kids. And
Harmon agrees.
Every day, mornings when these kids go to school, even though when they're coming home, I keep a lookout on them.
Shootings, drug activity, and reckless driving are all things these residents want to see gone from their neighborhood. As you can see behind me, Fort Wayne police are still at the scene. They're investigating and speaking to witnesses. In Fort Wayne, I'm Nico Panisi, Fox 55 News.
We would love to fill them, but we simply don't seem to have the demand.
Coming up, local health departments seeing a decline in people signing up for COVID-19 vaccines, how health officials plan to fill those appointments and make sure no dose goes unused, plus a historic amount of funding heading to Indiana schools. We're going to tell you how much of the record-setting Indiana state budget will head towards education. And later,
I heard the first shot come through the windshield, and that's when he shot me.
a survivor of the Indianapolis FedEx shooting describes the moment he unknowingly drove up to the shooter. That's coming up. If you're still waiting for a vaccine appointment, local health officials say you shouldn't be having to because vaccine clinics throughout Northeast Indiana have more available appointments now than ever, but demand is starting to fall off. Fox 55's Drew Fry explains how health officials are planning the future of COVID-19 vaccinations.
The Memorial Coliseum is used to being filled with Hoosiers eager to get the COVID-19 vaccine. But Health Administrator Mindy Waldron says she's seen a lull as of late.
We do want to encourage folks that now is the time to get that because there are open appointments, easy to make them. We won't be here forever, and those times are few and far between in the next few months.
Dr. Terry Gaff in Noble County says he typically has over 400 shots to give out each day, but fewer people are signing up.
We have literally hundreds of open appointments, and we would love to fill them, but we simply don't seem to have the demand for new vaccines.
Health officials say their priority is to not waste any doses. So as more vaccine appointments become available, they need to find more arms as well.
Thus far, and I'm crossing my fingers, that thus far we have not wasted a dose of a vaccine, and we've had our clinic open since January the 11th.
Gaff says his clinic has made calls asking people to move up their appointments so they don't have any leftover doses in a day. Huntington Health Officer Matt Flieger says he's no stranger to filling appointments by phone either.
We've been doing that already is a lot of outreach. At the end of the day, we're calling people. We've utilized big employment centers in getting lists of people that we can call at the end of the day and reach out to them.
Flieger says his clinic isn't struggling to find vaccine recipients yet, but he has noticed a drop-off. Waldron is hoping to see appointments increase soon. She says there's no time to wait.
Right now, we're remaining steady. We just would like to see more getting it so we get closer to herd immunity quicker. We want to race against those variants.
The Allen and Huntington County mass vaccination clinics say they'll reevaluate their schedules around June. Gaff says the Noble County Clinic will likely start limiting its hours soon as fewer people schedule appointments. In Fort Wayne, I'm Drew Fry, Fox 55 News.
Waldron asks anyone who has already gotten their vaccines to make sure to cancel any alternate appointments they've scheduled, since other clinics may still be expecting them. Now look at state COVID vaccination numbers within the last 24 hours. 37,451 new doses have been administered, which includes both doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. 20,768 are now fully vaccinated in the state. And to find a vaccination site near you, you can visit our website, WFFT.com. That info, top of our webpage. Now, COVID cases in Indiana, 723 new positive cases tonight in the state, which brings the total to over 709,000. One new death brings that total to 12,826. Allen County reporting 58 new cases and 6 new deaths tonight, which brings the total deaths from COVID-19 in Allen County to 673. The 7-day positivity rate in the state is 5.2%. You can also find COVID-19 cases and deaths in your county by visiting our website, WFFT.com. New tonight, Indiana schools set to receive $1.9 billion in new funding, one of many focal points made by Governor Eric Holcomb and state leaders during the state's budget presentation this afternoon. The state budget deal will boost school funding by nearly 5% each of the next 2 years. The 2-year budget is $37.4 billion. The budget will fund the $600 million down payment, with a commission found was needed to make teacher pay competitive, which was a big focal point in the Red for Ed movement seen here in Indiana. The $1.9 billion, more than twice the original proposed number in earlier drafts. Southwest Allen County Schools teacher Ryan Henley says they've been advocating for better salaries for years.
Indiana has lagged behind the states in our region and within the country in the way that our raises have been calculated and the salaries of teachers. And so this announcement of the money not only going towards districts, but also the percentage of money that needs to go towards teacher salaries will be very helpful.
And Henley's grateful that Governor Holcomb has decided to prioritize public education funding after their years of advocacy. And tonight, 2 new nonprofits in Allen County will receive $250,000 from a COVID-19 response grant. The YWCA will partner with the Lutheran Foundation to expand mental health services for women in our area. The funds will be used to add therapy and case management for clients of the YWCA. The Lutheran Foundation will also provide an additional $25,000 and work with the organization as a service provider. The YWCA, it plans to hire additional therapists who specialized in domestic violence and substance abuse to assist with clients. A survivor of the deadly FedEx shooting in Indianapolis says he came face to face with the shooter after unknowingly pulling into a parking lot during the shooting. Rich and I sat down with Earl Johnson, who says he's just grateful to be alive.
Earl Johnson's family counts 13 bullet holes in his car. Earl heard what he thought were firecrackers as he drove into work at FedEx Thursday night, but he was pulling into a parking spot in the middle of a mass shooting.
As I turned back around, then I faced the shooter, right at me. And he got me. I heard the first shot come through the windshield, and that's when he shot me.
Earl ducked and crawled out and then under his car, then ran to safety when the shooter went inside the building. 8 other co-workers were shot and killed.
It's a close call to death. But it was for real, But God spared me. He had his, angels around me.
Earl suffered a gunshot in the left shoulder. He banged up his knee and elbow crawling in the parking lot. His wife Annie also works at FedEx. She worked the shift before him and was inside during the shooting, but unharmed.
I hadn't even begun to process it because mainly I was just focusing on the healing, taking it one step at a time to mainly make sure that I was healing, that I didn't lose my arm, and because I'm left-handed.
FedEx said Monday that 4 other employees are still hospitalized. Dylan Atkins, Angela Huey, Sandeep Kaur, and Harpreet Singh. 19-year-old Dylan Atkins arrived for work in this SUV Thursday night. As he pulled into the parking lot, his vehicle was blasted with bullets. Dylan was not shot, but injured by the shrapnel. He underwent surgery to remove a large piece of debris from his chest, and doctors repaired a hole in his diaphragm.
Dylan's mother says her son's chest is covered with abrasions from the flying glass from his windows, but he could be released from Methodist Hospital as soon as Tuesday.
Earl Johnson says he will return to FedEx when he fully recovers.
It's a miracle that I came through. I'm blessed, truly blessed. I don't take it for granted.
And coming up, Fort Wayne Mayor Tom Henry honors those who gave back during the pandemic. How many hours volunteers spent helping a Fort Wayne food pantry and the amount of food given to families in need.
And I'll let you know when the snow finally tapers off, just how much we're expecting on the ground in the morning and what your morning commute will be looking like next.
And now, your forecast from the Fox 55 Severe Weather Center.
As expected, we're looking at about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall on the ground area-wide once it's all said and done. And of course, isolated higher amounts will be possible, especially south of 24. Here are a few snowfall totals compiled within the past hour and a half. 3.3 inches in Rolling Hills. Bluffton coming in at just a little over 3 inches. Van Wert under 3 inches at 2.7. The airport coming in at 2.1. Smashed the previous daily record of 0.2 set in 1953. Of course, we're adding to this. This is an observation from about 8:30. Salem Center coming in at about 1.5. The closer you are to Michigan, the lesser totals that you have seen. Notice the snow. It is in fact tapering off. Our northwesternmost counties, they are out of the thick of it. So Elkhart, Kosciuszko County, you are done. Far western portions of LaGrange County, you might be seeing a few light flurries here. Steuben County, we're talking central Steuben County along 69 towards 6 in DeKalb County, heading towards Noble County in Kendallville. Light snow. A lot of this is coming down as light, steady snow. That's the case towards Allen County as we head off towards northwest Ohio, towards Paulding, along 127. Also, as we head towards Columbia City, light snow as well. It's off towards our southern tier counties. You kind of see this little bit of a darker blue, this banding feature, a little bit more moderate snowfall falling there just south of Beaver Creek, just north of Portland. And again, this stuff is going to shift to the south and east and exit the area here very shortly. So we just have a few more hours and then we're completely done with this stuff. So snapshot right around 11 o'clock, much like what we're seeing on the radar right now. The heavier snowfall, again, southern tier counties, and they're going to be exiting within about a half hour or so. Fort Wayne, you're going to be clear and out of the blues by the time 1 o'clock rolls around. So we're tapering all this off. By the time 2, 3 o'clock rolls around, isn't that a nice thing to see? We clear all this snowfall out of the area, but unfortunately we have to turn our attention to this right here. Freeze warning. It's in effect right now for the entire area. Honestly, this stretches all the way down towards Oklahoma and Arkansas. A whole lot of cold air encompassing a good chunk of the United States. This is for tonight and tomorrow night. We're talking overnight lows falling into about the middle 20s. My friends, if you've already turned your sprinkler systems on, turn them off. This is your little PSA. Turn them off. And of course, I hope you covered your plants. Again, temperatures falling into the 20s. This is where we could have the potential of a few slick spots tomorrow morning because, again, into the 20s, anything that is on the roads like that shining that has melted already could freeze over. So just be cautious in the morning tomorrow. Add a few extra minutes to your morning commute. No issues towards the middle of the day and even towards your evening commute tomorrow. No problems weather-wise. Temperatures will be heating up into the lower 40s, but nonetheless a lot better than today. Starting the day off with some sunshine, the clouds start to filter in. Don't get too caught up in these blues, pinks, and greens. We're just going to see some passing rain showers, maybe a few snowflakes mixing in, not accumulating whatsoever, just enough to say, hey, this is the last hurrah for a while, I hope, until fall. And then we're looking at some brighter days ahead of us as high temperatures kind of moderate for us. So here's your 7-day forecast. 42, the expected high for tomorrow. So yes, still chilly, those spotty showers, a few snowflakes mixing in, nothing to write home about. Wait until you see the rest of the 7-day, Chris. I think I'm going to be making friends later on in the work week.
I see a 74.
Yes. Well, geez, you went all the way down to 7.
How could I not?
So Friday, we're looking at high right near 60 degrees. We're going to be pretty close to that 60-degree mark. Saturday, scattered showers, my friends. No S word, just scattered rain showers. No snow there. And of course, I'm going a little conservative next week. Some of the models are hinting towards 80, but hey, I'll take it.
Today was weird, but not crazy. Not crazy in terms of snow. How long are we going to see the snow, on the grass and on some of these? Is it
honestly,
gone by Thursday,
it's
maybe?
already starting to melt, to be truthful. I mean, ground temperatures are still warm. You may encounter some fog out there, too, so be careful out on the roadways because that will be freezing fog. But nonetheless, tomorrow afternoon, highs in the low 40s. A lot of this is going to be gone within the next 24, 48 hours. Bye.
Hands are dry.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing it.
Yes.
Thanks, Beverly. Well, coming up in tonight's Kids Who Care, the Boy Scouts of America honor their first female Eagle Scout in Northeast Indiana. We'll learn more about her hard work and dedication. All that's coming up. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to take another look at the current road conditions in our area. Interstate 69 and 469, that's what you're looking at right now. INDOT crews, they're going to continue to be out there plowing and putting down salt in preparation for the morning commute. We're already hearing about some accumulation and some slick spots on some overpasses and roads in our area. But they want to remind drivers to be aware of other road work that's currently happening in the area.
One of the other things to keep in mind tonight is that we do actually have a lot of construction zones and road closures across Northeast Indiana. So you want to keep that in mind and travel through those areas safely as well, especially with the potential slick spots that you might come across on the road.
Drivers should also still allow for extra travel time on those roads. One woman is dead and another is fighting for her life in a hospital after a shooting near downtown Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne police were called to a home home on 8th Street for an unknown problem at the time. Officers found 2 females inside with gunshot wounds at a home. One was pronounced dead at the scene. The second was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The shooting is still under investigation. If you're still waiting for a COVID-19 vaccine appointment, local health officials say you shouldn't be. Vaccine clinics throughout the area have doses available as early as tomorrow and appointments available. Officials say their supply of vaccine remains steady, but the number of people registering has really gone down. They say their primary goal is to make sure they don't waste any doses, so they've been working on some community outreach programs. Indiana schools are set to receive $1.9 billion in new funding, one of many focal points made by Governor Eric Holcomb and state leaders during the state's budget presentation. The state budget deal will boost school funding by nearly 5% each of the next 2 years. The two-year budget is $37.4 billion, and the budget will fund the $600 million down payment a commission found was needed to make teacher pay competitive. Honoring those who give back. Fort Wayne Mayor Tom Henry visited a local food bank this morning to thank those who have volunteered across the city over the past year. Fox 55's Kelsey Mannix reports how much time people with the Volunteer Center gave last year and how the mayor says it's impacting the city.
Volunteers donated over 53,000 hours of their time last year through the Volunteer Center in Fort Wayne. Mayor Tom Henry says it makes a difference.
The thousands of hours that volunteers every year put out to make our city just a little bit better place to live, to help those who many times through no fault of their own are being put in positions of true need.
The total value of that time? Over $1.4 million. Today, the Volunteer Center presented Henry with a large symbolic check for that amount.
That is the beauty of our city. We have a city that people donate money, and we have a city that people donate time. And I think that makes us unique and stronger.
Volunteer Center Executive Director Ani Etter says one of the biggest areas of need last year was food.
Food insecurity has been such a tremendous issue throughout the pandemic and continues to be as people struggle getting back their job. A lot of industries were decimated by the pandemic.
Here at Miss Virginia's Food Pantry in Fort Wayne, their volunteers helped give out over 105,000 pounds of food last year, which helped almost 30,000 people.
In Fort Wayne, we step up and we say we take care of our own. We're not going to let the citizens of Fort Wayne go for any extended period of time without having the basic needs of life met.
When the pandemic first hit, the food pantry had fewer volunteers. People like Joe McGuire came back to make sure people get what they need.
It makes you feel good at the end of the day when you got it all done, that you're helping somebody out.
In Fort Wayne, I'm Kelsey Mannix, Fox 55 News.
The Volunteer Center has helped in other ways throughout the pandemic, including making face masks, virtual tutoring, assisting those with disabilities, and helping people file their taxes. Fort Wayne's annual German Fest will switch to drive-through options this year instead of the traditional festival. Organizers say the decision comes after working with the City of Fort Wayne and Allen County Health Department to make safer accommodations. The festival is going to take place on June 22nd from noon to 5. It'll be held at the Fort Wayne Sport Club and Student Life Center on the Ivy Tech Community College campus. For information on how to pre-order a meal, you can visit our website, WFFT.com. And a reminder, the Fort Wayne Zoo, it's going to be opening Saturday morning from 9 to 5 in a lot better weather than today, obviously. Admission will be $15 for adults, $11 for anyone 18 and younger, and $13 for ages 62 and older. And coming up, the FDA orders Johnson & Johnson's manufacturing plant to stop vaccine production. What symptoms the CDC is recommending you look for if you receive the vaccine.
And I'll let you know when the snow finally moves out, how much will be on the ground when you wake up tomorrow morning, and we'll take a look at those driving conditions too.
More fallout for the troubled Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine. The FDA has ordered the vaccine maker to suspend production after an issue at a Baltimore facility. This comes after the CDC paused the rollout as it looks into reports of severe reactions to the vaccine itself. Steve Nannis has more.
Another setback for Johnson & Johnson. Emergent Biosolutions has paused any new manufacturing of the J&J coronavirus vaccine at this Baltimore plant at the request of the FDA, but the company did not say why. The move comes as the administering of Johnson & Johnson shots remains on hold in the U.S. The CDC and the FDA making the decision due to the potential for rare but life-threatening blood clots.
These have been a handful of cases, not an overwhelming number of cases.
Federal health officials revealing they originally considered simply issuing a warning about this, but settled on pausing the rollout. Now the CDC director says they're investigating before deciding how to proceed.
We are working through and adjudicating them and verifying whether they do in fact reflect a true case. And that will be the work of the CDC this week, as well as the FDA.
Meanwhile, President Joe Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, predicts Johnson & Johnson's vaccine will come back on the market with restrictions or warnings by Friday.
I don't want to get ahead of the CDC and the FDA and the advisory committee, but I would imagine that what we will see is that it would come back, and it would come back in some sort of either warning or restriction.
In an email statement, Emergent Biosolutions said the inspection is ongoing and it's working with the FDA and Johnson & Johnson to strengthen the supply chain.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending anyone with new symptoms after they receive the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine seek medical treatment. That's because symptoms could include headache, backache, abdominal pain, shortness of breath, leg swelling, tiny red spots on the skin, and new or easy bruising. Abbott's rapid COVID-19 home test will soon be available for purchase at CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. The Buy Next Now self-test can be bought without a prescription. The testing kit was given emergency use authorization by the FDA. It can also be used on children as young as 2 years old and give results in about 15 minutes. And coming up in our Kids Who Care segment, we're going to learn about a female Eagle Scout in our area and hear from her Scoutmasters about her dedication to the Scouts.
And still to come, the coaching carousel continues with the high school boys hoops scene. Who's on the move? We got it coming up for you in sports.
Tonight on Kids Who Care, the Boy Scouts of America, Anthony Wayne Area Council in Northeast Indiana are honoring their first female Eagle Scout. The program was established in 1910, but only in 2019 were older girls admitted into the flagship scouting program. Fox 55's Nico Panisi spoke with Megan Harris's Scoutmaster about her hard work and determination.
We say first female scout of our council, but I look at the scout first.
Scoutmaster Michael Skeen says regardless of gender, he couldn't think of someone more worthy of the title of Eagle Scout than Megan Harris.
Megan has a terrific personality. Her charisma carries over. She's I'm gonna say a leader servant.
The 17-year-old Churubusco girl is Anthony Wayne Area Council BSA's first female Eagle Scout.
Morals, values, charisma. Pretty much our BSA, what we expect out of every scout.
Skeen says she exemplifies each of those qualities.
No matter if she's a female or a male, she was able to reach those goals.
Boy Scouts of America Development Director Tammy Taylor says earning Eagle isn't that easy. Only about 6% of scouts achieve the program's highest rank.
They have to plan out a project. They have to include their peers and adults to help them put that project together. And that's a lot of responsibility.
On top of the large-scale community service project, she had to earn a minimum of 21 merit badges. Skeen says she's gone above and beyond just those minimum requirements.
She also helps with the Cub Scout pack in Busco that has boys and girls. She just has that natural ability to bring people along.
In Fort Wayne, I'm Nico Panisi, Fox 55 News.
Harris plans to attend Ivy Tech in the fall before pursuing a degree in physical therapy at Ball State. And if you know a child who's doing something extraordinary in the community, we want to hear about it and feature them in our Kids Who Care segment. You can share ideas with us by contacting news@WFFT.com.
And now, your forecast from the Fox 55 Severe Weather Center.
It's hard to believe it's April when you see pictures like this. So we're seeing a bunch of these pictures, snow clinging to the trees. This is from Kristen Watson from Fort Wayne, Indiana. The wet, heavy snow, it's still a wet, heavy snow out there. We've had reports of some broken tree limbs because it is so heavy weighing down. Well, we already have leaves on some of the trees, so weighing them down too. Absolutely gorgeous setting, but unfortunately, poor timing on Mother Nature's behalf. We're still seeing some light snow working across the area, a little bit heavier banding feature just off to the south, but you can see the back edge of this precip. It is tapering off, so our friends in the far northwest, they are not dealing with what we're seeing here in Steuben County. Some light snow, but it is going to start ending here within the next couple of hours. DeKalb County along 6, some light snow. Kendallville, Walketville, a little bit of light snow too, and that's certainly the trend here in Allen County towards Paulding along 127, towards Pleasant. You can also see it towards Root, and we're talking Wells and Adams County, seeing some light snow as well. And here's the heavier banding feature towards Portland, a little bit of a darker blue, so a bit more on the moderate side of things, but nonetheless, most of us seeing that light, steady snow working across the area, drifting off to the southeast. So it's tapering off from the northwest to the southeast. So already seeing our friends off to the northwest, LaGrange, Kosciuszko, and Elkhart counties. You are done with this stuff. Sit back, relax, and as we continue over the course of the next couple hours, the rest of us will be done too. So right around Fort Wayne, towards Huntington, we're talking near Marion and Hartford City, even towards DeKalb and Angola. By the time 1 o'clock rolls around, we should be done with the snow. Just a few lingering snow showers off towards, let's say, south of Decatur, near Portland. That's going to be the case around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Everybody's done with the snow by the time 3 o'clock in the morning rolls around. We clear everything out. The temperatures fall well below the freezing mark. Right now, we're hovering at that freezing mark. We're looking at overnight lows falling into the 20s, about the mid to upper 20s area wide. That's why we have this freeze warning in effect. Starts now. It's ongoing until about 8 o'clock Thursday morning. So again, I hope you protected your plants, you took those extra precautions, and if you have the sprinkler system on, be sure to shut it off. That's probably a good idea too. But nonetheless, this is tonight and also tomorrow night, temperatures down into the 20s. As we go throughout the day on Wednesday, don't worry, nothing compared to what we had to deal with today. Just be cautious on the roadways early tomorrow morning. You may encounter a few slick spots, bridges and overpasses, your typical bugaboo spots. By lunchtime, no worries on the roadways whatsoever. We'll still see some sunshine. The clouds, they're going to be in and out as we go through the afternoon hours, and don't get too caught up in these blues and purples. We'll see some rain showers, may mix in with a few snowflakes and sleet pellets, but honestly, nothing to write home about, and I'm not looking at an accumulation at all. By the time 8 o'clock rolls around, we're dry, full steam ahead to warmer days. We're talking highs returning near 50 degrees for Thursday. Tomorrow, though, high temperatures will be topping out right in the lower 40s, and again, a few spotty showers in the afternoon, tapering off in the evening, may mix with a few snowflakes and sleet pellets. Remember, warmer days ahead, 50 on the way for Earth Day on Thursday. We'll be near 60 on Friday, and then over the weekend we'll be near 60 degrees as well. And don't worry, that Saturday pop, it is rain, not snow. Justin.
And now from Fox 55 News, this is your local sports.
Hey, we're going to start you out with some high school hoops news for you. DeKalb has found their new head coach, and it's a name fans here in the Summit City may be familiar with. Marty Beasley named the school's 6th head coach in the last 28 years. Beasley has spent the past 16 years coaching at Carroll. He led the Chargers to 247 wins and 5 conference titles between the SAC and the Northeast Hoosier Conference. He also led Carroll to 5 sectionals and a regional title. He takes over for Rod Cohn, who spent 5 seasons in Waterloo and led DeKalb to a 9-12 record last year.
They don't want me to come in here and do anything out of the ordinary and try to prove that I could do something. Right now my main goal is just to be a great teammate and, help us win games whenever I get an opportunity.
Well, that was O'Shea Brissett when he signed with the Pacers to what was his first of 2 10-day contracts with the team. And now the former Mad Ant can take a little bit of a breather because hopefully he'll be getting a lot more opportunities with the team here moving forward. That's because ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting today that the Pacers have signed Brissett to a 3-year contract. Brissett started 1 game, played in 6 with the Sirs this year, and he's averaged just under 5 points per contest. Now, during this year's G League bubble, Brissett was named to the All-G League 2nd team with the Mad Ants. He played in 12 games with the team, averaging just under 19 points and 10 boards per game. He's the 19th Mad Ant to ever receive a call up to the NBA. Sticking with the hoops theme, last week Mike Woodson rounded out his coaching staff, and now this week the rest of his roster appears to be taking shape. Yesterday, top 60 2021 recruit Tamar Bates announced his commitment to Woodson and the Hoosiers. Today, IU got some big transfer news. Former Northwestern wing Miller Kopp announced his intent to transfer to Bloomington. Now, one of the best shooters in the transfer portal, Kopp averaged 11 points and 3 boards per game with the Wildcats last year as a junior. The 6'7" Kopp will have 2 years of eligibility remaining. Now, he picked IU over offers from USC, Creighton, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, among plenty of other suitors. Staying in college, a fantastic season for Purdue volleyball came to a close in the Elite Eight last night. The Boilers dropping their regional final game in 3 sets to Kentucky. Purdue was making their 4th overall appearance in the Elite Eight and their 1st since 2013. And now with just 2 seniors on the roster and the majority of this year's group set to return next year, they say this experience and deep run through the tourney has been invaluable.
There's no doubt that this experience of coming to the NCAA championship and playing 3 matches after getting the first round bye is great experience. We extended our season by another probably 20 days, I'm guessing. I kind of lost count once we got here. But we had more practice time. We had opportunities to prepare and learn a few things about how to play great competition.
For us, getting this far in the tournament was kind of crazy for me, especially as a freshman. I never, ever thought that like the first year you get jumped into the Elite Eight. Usually that's something most teams have to work for their whole entire career. And it's crazy just to be this far, and I'm just so grateful, and I'm still really excited about what we have in the future.
The Boilers finished their season 16-7 overall. Speaking of college volleyball, 7th-seeded Indiana Tech men opening NAI tourney pool play today, taking on 3-seed Campbellsville. Tech dropped the first set, but came out hot the next 2. Here you're going to see Mario Capo with one of his 7 kills. Warriors take sets 2 and 3, and then in the 4th, match point right here, and Campbellsville's Ryan Smith's serve goes into the net. Tech takes the 4th, 25-23. They win the match 3-1. They'll face Vanguard tomorrow at 11 to continue pool play. They need just 1 win to make it to the semifinals. And finally, hey, speaking of Indiana Tech, yesterday the Warrior men's soccer team learning their fate for the opening round of the NAI tourney. The Warriors receiving the 1 seed right here in the Fort Wayne bracket and will host Cardinal Stritch, Cumberlands, and Bethel in opening round play. Tech will take on the 4 seed Cardinal Stritch on Thursday at 1. The winner of that advances to face the winner of the Cumberlands Bethel game on Saturday. And that is going to do it for sports. Malou, back over to you, my friend.
Thank you, JP.
Hey, you're welcome.
We're going to show you some tense moments. Railroad tracks in India. Good Samaritan saving a child from being hit by a train, caught on camera. You can see the kid right there falling into the train tracks, and then you're going to see someone just jet from the other side right there, saving him before the train comes, pulling him up before the train passes by. Worker now being hailed a hero by his fellow transit workers. Quick, smart play by him.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy cow.
Quick thinking.
Talk about...
That's quick thinking.
Yeah, quick thinking and
quick acting.
Kind of looked like Flash running down those
I was about to say,
those tracks.
40 times. It's got to be 4-3, 40 times. Sprinting towards a moving train.
Impressive and cool moment, to say the least, especially something like that gets caught on camera, too.
Happy everyone's safe.
Hey, yeah, me too.
Yeah. I know you were talking when you came here.
Yep.
Roads were a bit slippery, especially on some of the overpasses.
Main roads seemed to be okay. Yeah. I saw a couple trucks out while I was driving. Bridges and overpasses started to get a little bit of accumulation on them. We're getting a little bit slick, but otherwise all was okay, but it could change, obviously, as things head overnight.
And we're probably not shocked about that, Beverly, right, with the amount of accumulations we've gotten?
Right, and as temperatures fall well below freezing. Right now we're hovering at the freezing mark. We're expecting overnight lows in about the middle 20s. And again, this is all tapering off. Most of the snow is east of I-69. Within a couple hours, we're done. But just be cautious on the roadways tomorrow. Slick spots definitely possible. The rest of the day, not going to be a problem whatsoever, but just be careful out there tomorrow morning. Add a few more minutes, rather, on your commute.
And then before we know it, it's like 70 degrees.
I was going to say, it'll be 60 by Saturday.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, stay safe on the roads, everyone. Final shot, those driving conditions as they are. Good night.
Good night.